first episode of 3 Stars. This is a new show where we will talk all things Clash of Clans Esports. We will look back at what happened, what's ahead, a little bit of predictions, and a closer look at qualified teams. I'm your host, CarbonFin, and I'm joined by ex-pro player MAXI. Welcome to the show. How you doing today?
Hello, CarbonFin. Thank you so much. I'm doing great, and I couldn't be more excited to talk about all of this Clash of Clans stuff that we are going to focus on today. I mean, we had already 4 qualifiers throughout this year, and 4 teams qualified for the World Finals in Helsinki. One of those we're going to talk about later. But CarbonFin, what else can we expect on today's episode?
We'll recap a bit of Stage 1, how the format worked, what made it so difficult, and our top picks of some notable teams that made it through. We'll also look ahead at Stage 2 and beyond. Some format changes are coming, so teams will need to adjust from Stage 1. Lastly, we'll get to know the first teams to qualify, X Team Esports. Who are they? How do they qualify? And what to expect from them in the finals. MAXI, enough talking. Let's just jump into it.
We've seen that Stage 1 was already very exciting, and I mean, the teams had to play 60 matches over the course of 1.5 weeks, and this is a lot of matches, but 64 teams made it out of there.
Yeah, that's incredible amount. They had to play all those matches, and the big thing is, do they stack the matches in the beginning, play in the start, or do they play at the end? Plus, some time zones can be interesting. Like, if you play in a certain time zone, you may know that some opponents you don't want to match up against, like they're going to be difficult. They might be sleeping, so you can try to adjust that as well. So it's really interesting to see how the teams play through that. But through the teams that have played, now that's all over. We now know the top teams. So which top teams are you kind of looking out for?
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, you talked about all the, different parts that you have to take into account, but one team definitely did no mistake at all when choosing when to play their matches, how to play their matches, whatever, because they went perfect. A clean 60-0 record for Space Station, and they made it out of Stage 1 as number 1 of all the teams. So they're going to be a team to be looking at. And another team I want to focus on got so close to beating them, and I'm talking about the well-known team Queen Walkers. They have just been so consistent throughout the last seasons also, and they have been at several World Championships before, but this year they have fallen short all the time. So now they made it to Stage 2, and I think that they are hungry for one of the 4 remaining spots. Carbon, what teams do you have in mind?
Well, you mentioned 2 teams that the community for sure are expecting to get some golden tickets. But 2 others that are going to be trying to fight for that is Marcos Gaming, who came so close in the previous community tournament against Strut. They were 1 match away from taking it from them and don't even have to compete. They would have been safe for the World Finals. But the other team is Chasmec Gaming. They also were competing in the same tournament as Marcos Gaming. They also came pretty close to a golden ticket, so this is their opportunity to try to get that. But before we talk about more detail of those teams, let's learn all the 64 teams that qualified to Stage 2. Since we've learned how the teams competed in the first stage, MAXI, what are we going to see coming up?
Yes, the top 64 teams that made their way here, they have to play in an entirely changed format, basically. It's going to be a double elimination system from here on, where the top 16 teams will make their way to stage number 3. So Carbon, I want to ask you, who are your top picks to make it into the next stage?
Well, I'm taking one of your picks as the top teams earlier you selected. I'm going with Queen Walkers, right? Queen Walkers is going to be my first pick that are going to be coming out of this. One, because all the viewers at home in the competitive scene definitely know that they are expecting Queen Walkers to make it. The reason why I'm saying that is We've seen Queen Walkers be runners-up multiple times in the World Championship. They've come so close to winning the finals. To not see Queen Walkers in a World Championship setting is going to be something that's completely different. No one's going to expect that. We got Klaus, we got Stars, two unbelievable attackers, especially under the pressure. Gaku's amazing. We've got Kazuma, the new player that's joined the team, so they got a little bit of a change, but they're still in an amazing squad to come through. But another one is Time to Throw. They are going to be coming in from Europe, and they are a team that can go punch for punch against any team in the world, even against teams that have already qualified, like Tribe Gaming, like Strut. They have gone against them so many times, and really, it's kind of a flip of a coin who's going to be winning those matches. Those are the two teams I'm picking to make it out. What about you, Maxi?
I'll have to focus once again on Space Station. We talked about them before, they went perfect, so you cannot, you cannot make your predictions without really talking about them for the next stage, I think. And they have already played in a lot of tournaments that don't have this ladder system, so double elimination is not something new for them. So I'm pretty sure that they will be able to perform very well there too. But then another team I would like to focus on is VN Tompinai. They are also a very well-known team who have been at the World Championship, have been successful at the World Championship, and they are known to be a tournament squad. They always tend to perform well under pressure when the most is on the line, and I think that they will be a very, very tough opponent in this second stage.
We've talked about stage 1 and stage 2, but now stage 3 is next, and that's going to be the Swiss format. How does it work? You win 3 matches, you move on. You lose 3 matches, you are eliminated. It's as simple as that. And then after the Swiss stage, we're go back to double elimination again to narrow it down even further. And then that will finally get us to the 4 more teams that will be making it to the World Finals, which is on September 23rd to 25th in Helsinki, Finland. Now that we know the process to earn the final 4 golden tickets, let's go all the way back to the beginning and learn who was the very first team to get the golden ticket this year. Maxi, who was it?
It's as easy as that. It was X Team Esports, and it actually made their X Team dance so famous. Everybody loved it. Everybody loved seeing them, seeing XBB, one of their most known players, do the magic tricks on stream. And they have actually been like a big surprise in the first tournament. I mean, they won against Pyromania in the finals, but before that they also had to take on Strut Esports, who, as we've known, have already won a golden ticket by now. So they are really on the level as the other teams.
Yeah, X Team Esports is a team that's going to be coming probably under the radar for a lot of these teams. Yeah, they were the very first team to qualify and definitely surprised a lot of teams coming through, but they deserved it because of the meta. They were able to exploit it because XBB loves to bring the Valkyries. We've seen Homura bring the Hog Riders. They love to do different things, but Maxi, as being a player in this kind of scene, that changes, right? The meta's got to be completely different from when they play to when the World Finals is going to be happening.
Absolutely. The meta is constantly shifting and teams are constantly developing new strategies. But there are also some teams that are consistently at a high level, like, say, Queen Walkers, Tribe Gaming, Strut Esports, all of those guys. But X Team Esports, they have really come out as a surprise with that, but with such an intelligent approach with the Valkyries, with the Hawks and so on. But we're going to have to see if they can do it again for the World Championship, because it's actually something that, for example, Tribe Gaming, when I was playing with them last year, have done as well for the World Championship, and it gave us a lot of success. And we also did it before the Last Chance Qualifier last year. So because we know that at this level, teams really tend to prepare for the exact team that they're going to be facing. If you come in with something completely new, nobody's going to expect, you can really win against an opponent that you maybe yourself don't even expect to win against.
Absolutely. And we know the team, we know X Team Esports, that they have something in common, XBB essentially, with me and you, right? So if we think back to 2019, which was really cool, me and you, I was casted back in the 2019 World Finals in Germany. You were playing back in the 2019 World Finals there. But XBB, where was he, Maxi?
Yeah, that is so funny. He was actually in the audience. He came and traveled all the way to Germany to see the top players at the time, to see the 8 best teams in the world compete for the World Championship. And that is actually when he decided to build a team of his own to maybe one day compete there as well. And, you know, it's such a great story that they actually made it work just 3 years after, and especially in the year where we are going to be seeing the first live event again at the World Championship in Helsinki at the end of September. So that's really just a fairy tale.
It is. It's unbelievable. It kind of feels like from 2019 to now is like it just went by so quick because all the other ones were online, and it's great to be able to see them in person. And cannot wait to see what X Team Esports does, as they're going to be trying to come in and sneak through and take these teams down. But other golden ticket teams are not going to be unprepared. They're going to be preparing against the Velks, the Hogs, stuff that is crazy. But we know X Team Esports is going to be a team to be reckoned with. Cannot wait to see what they're going to do in the World Finals. That's it for this show. Thanks for tuning in. And of course, Maxi, thanks for joining me.
Thank you so much, CarbonFin. It was an absolute pleasure to do this first episode of 3 Stars with you today. And to you, viewers, I want to say, make sure to follow us here on all of our social media platforms to stay up to date with everything related to Clash of Clans Esports.
I'm CarbonFin.
I'm MAXI.
See you next time.
And Clash on.